Hello, guys. It's Roberto Ramon, co-host of The Final Bell. Today, we have a special episode for you guys with NBA TV personality and former NBA player and coach Sam Mitchell. Coach Mitchell has a very busy schedule, and we were not able to get this interview in our studio, so we had to get this done with minimal equipment. We apologize in advance for lighting and audio issues, but please enjoy.
Hey man, thank you, man. I got an amazing one of my partners. This is my dog right here, man. Brother Sam Mitchell. This guy, listen, when I tell you basketball, man, you know the game from the inside out, that he's amazing. Not only is he good, he understands the game, you know what the hell he's talking about. So I'm just so glad to have this conversation. My boy just stopped in to holler at me. Sam, what's up, man?
Another day above dirt, bro. My favorite line.
Yeah, I was talking to a guy the other day, man, and we was just talking about, how the game used to be and where we came from, all the hard times we had to go through to get to a certain level. Whereas opposed nowadays, man, what's happening is a lot of these kids, they got a sense of entitlement, right? Well, we had to work, we had to grind, we played outside, we played. And so I'm just, what do you think we need to do to get these kids to be more passionate about the game? Because they don't love it. A lot of them don't love the game, and you know that.
Well, I think first of all is how you're introduced to the game. Today, kids are forced into the game. My mom and dad, when I started playing sports, my dad had one rule. Whenever you start, you got to finish that season. Now, I didn't have to continue to play throughout high school, but if for instance, I went out for the wrestling team. All right, I made the team.
You did wrestling?
Yep. After about 2 matches getting slammed on my head, I wanted to quit. I wasn't any good.
Wow.
My dad said no. Because if you start quitting now, you'll quit the rest of your life. So he made me finish the season, and then I didn't wrestle anymore. But I think that's part of it, because families look at the opportunities sports provide, especially low-income families like we grew up, right? It's a way out. But they don't understand the small percentages of kids that are going to make it out. And I say this to families all the time. If you have a child that's gifted athletically, there's nothing wrong with exploring that, encouraging that.
Absolutely.
Because it can be a pathway to a better life. But that just can't be the only pathway, because there's a lot of pitfalls along the way. So I just think, first of all, we forced the kids into doing it. We played because we loved it. I got introduced to basketball through my friends.
Right.
I was a football player. And my friends introduced me to basketball, and I started tagging along playing that way. And my love came from playing outside in the park. Now, look, I don't get on kids about things are supposed to get better as time goes on.
Right.
And we were playing in the backyard on dirt courts, just hooping. But things are supposed to get better, right? But there are better opportunities for the kids. We didn't have the access to basketball camps. We didn't have access to personal and private training. We didn't have any of that. We didn't have the best coaching. So there's really no excuse for kids today not to excel in any sport that they decide they want to participate in. It's just that I just think parents at a too early age push kids into it. I didn't start playing basketball, bro, until 9th grade, really.
Yeah.
I played football up until then.
Right.
And I've just learned over time, man, when you force people into doing something, they may fake it, and especially kids. Kids are fake that they love something because they see mom and dad are into it.
Right.
One of the parents really love it, picking them up, taking them. They're spending all this time. So what the parent don't understand, a lot of times the kid is into it because they get to spend time with the parent.
And see, here's the other thing, Sam. The thing that get me, man, like they'll take some kid be 6 months old. He the number one 6-month-old kid in the country.
Yeah.
At 6 months.
Oh, dude, I hear it all the time.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you ranking a kid, he's in second grade, top second grade. You know the pressure that goes behind that? Like people don't see the magnitude that happens to a kid.
What's the kid, not to interrupt you, that was a kid that just quit the NBA. Because he said, well, I can't remember his name, I was reading the article, because he basically said the pressure and the expectations that have been put on him. And what I realized reading that article, Bo, first of all, the kid didn't love it. Right? He didn't love it.
Yeah.
Because if you love it, even though the pressure and expectation can overwhelm you at times, you're not going to quit because you love it. So he didn't love it. And then they put so much pressure on him to where after he quit, he felt a sense of relief. He was happy.
Yes.
And so reading that article, and to your point, man, when I coach kids at Adidas Nation, all the kids were telling me, Coach, I'm ranked number 3. I'm ranked number 20. I'm ranked number 12. And you know what I used to tell them all the time? I was, guys, and I don't know if I can say this. We have
we chilling.
Okay. You know what I used to tell them all the time?
My show, baby. We chilling. Say what you want to say.
Take that ranking on that piece of paper and wipe your ass with it. Because people in the NBA care that little about what you're ranked.
Exactly.
I was never ranked in high school.
Yep.
I was a 3rd round pick. You know how many first round picks I sent home that thought they were going to get my job? I run out of fingers and toes counting them. I need to borrow some of your hands and feet. All right? It doesn't mean a thing. Yep. It's about here and here. Yep. Your ranking may get you looked at. Your ranking may get you drafted. But your ranking is not going to keep you there.
And speaking of that, man, and that's such an important piece. Like, having the right mindset, right? Like a lot of these kids, because what we talked about earlier, just have that sense of entitlement, and they have all these negative options to choose from, right? Just having that mindset to be successful at something. The issue is, I think, today's is a lot of kids want to be rappers.
Yeah.
Rappers want to be basketball players.
Yeah.
And you know, nobody is like focusing on exactly what they want to do. But my point is this: a lot of kids get caught in the hype. And so when they get caught in the hype, you know, it's not real. And so they get all the way to this point. They work with people that's telling them that they train them. Hell, you train dogs, cats, chickens, and animals. You develop people. So in the whole process, it's about development. It's not about training. I can train you. I can go to the internet and find some damn drills and show you something. But let me tap into what's inside of you.
Bo, I'm glad you said that. There's a lot of people out there that pick up drills. The internet is full of basketball drills. And they're good drills, all of them. But it's not the drill. It's the person teaching the drill. It's the person trying to extract that something out of that kid that they don't know they have. Coaching is different. Coaching is taking a person and making them believe and developing them in a way to where they feel they're better than what they are.
That's word right there.
Now, I was never ranked.
That's word.
I couldn't dribble past 2 dribbles with my left hand. How did I play 13 years in the NBA? Think about that. I wasn't a great athlete. I wasn't a leaper. I was a good shooter, not a great shooter. But my brain and my heart got me to the NBA. But it took me, until I was 26 years old. It took me 5 years of playing in the CBA and 2 years in Europe before I got to the NBA. So I had to work and grind, man. So I tell the parents this all the time. There's a lot of things that can happen on the road to get into the NBA. It's only 400 plus players. So do the math. And now when you look at Europe, all the players coming from Europe, and I want to tell you this, and I want American kids to listen to me carefully. We as NBA coaches and personnel, because the American kids feel so entitled, they don't work hard. They don't listen. They are not coachable. The year I was coach of the year in Toronto, I had 8 European players on my roster. It was so refreshing and easy to coach. I didn't have to manage attitude. Good teams. Players manage the locker room, the coach coached the team. We're good teams. If I got to manage attitudes in locker room and the locker room and coach the team, at best we're going to be mediocre or bad.
Hey man, look man, that's some word right there, Sam.
Young Americans, I'm telling you that. The Europeans are pushing you out because they listen. They don't feel entitled, and they're coachable. And at the end of the day, you watch NBA teams. You can tell who's able to coach their team. Why? By the substitutes back. Guys messing up, screwing up, no matter start playing or not. Coach pull him out
of the game.
He gonna come back, but he gonna pull him out the game. That's the only way you get players' attention. Minutes. You watch these teams that are bad, and the coach just let them run up and down the court, turn the ball over, don't say a word. Then he's got a hard time managing his team. He's not coaching, he's trying to manage.
See, Sam, you know, having an opportunity to play in Europe, and we played against each other. You know, I remember you played with this team, man. I'm just in Belgium. Was it Belgium?
Oh, Montpellier.
In
South of France.
You played with this guy, Rick Rabio. You and him averaged 32 points a game. You got 2 guys on a piece, bro. And I had to play against these 2 cats.
We put it up.
That was tough. But I said that to say this. I saw what I saw over there from a development standpoint, the way that they was developing their players. I remember when I first went over, they playing soccer in practice.
We did play soccer.
Play soccer.
That's right.
And
I thought it was, show you how ignorant I was coming from America.
Yes.
I thought it was stupid.
Yes.
I'm a basketball player. I had no idea I was developing footwork.
Yes.
Quickness.
Yes.
Rhythm.
Yes.
Agility. I had no idea. So, and this is when it hit me. My teammate named Donald Washington, who played in North Carolina, who had been in Europe, a naturalized French guy, spoke French fluently, married a French girl. He said, let me ask you something. He said, you keep coming over here. You over here talking about, why are we doing this? Why are we doing that? He said, look around. Are you in the United States? I said, no. He said, okay. Are you in the NBA right now? I said, no. He said, you're in France, playing in the French league, right? He said, you need to shut the hell up and pay attention and figure out what you can learn over here. Yes. That maybe you can take that back.
Yes.
And maybe it'll help you get to the NBA one day. And I went home to my apartment that night and I thought about it. And I started embracing the training. And I had a problem with it because it was new.
Yes.
I didn't understand it. And then once I embraced it and I started figuring out, man, I'm moving my feet better. I can do things better. And I start my conditioning.
Yes.
I started understanding about how you release lactic acid out of your muscles.
Yes.
But they do train. So by opening my mind of being over there, it was the best 2 years of my life. And the fact that I spent 2 seasons over there, Bo, I came right back, went to summer league with the Timberwolves and made the team.
And that's crazy. Let me say this too. We had a guy on our team, true story. He was getting 30, 35 points a game. French guy. But he was only taking 2 dribbles. 2 dribbles. 2 and 3 dribbles. When he got the ball, he never take more than 2 dribbles. And so I started working out with him, watching his workouts. What do you do? Hanging out with him. It was all feet work. I don't even call it footwork. I call it feet work. Because if you talk about foot, you talk about 1, you talk about 4, you talk about 2. So I adopted that. It added 5 years onto my career. Because when I went over there, I'm trying to dump on people. I said, man, you need to stop that. No. The game is played on the floor.
That's right.
And so once I started understanding that was a wrap.
What's amazing to me is how European has taken our game and they developed and expanded it. And they understand it better because they said it. Basketball is played from the feet up. And then once you get here, it's from the neck up. It has very little to do with how high you jump. Exactly. If you look at the best players in the NBA today, the most skilled players, they're not the best athletes.
Yes.
Luka Doncic is not an athlete.
Yes.
Joel Embiid is an okay athlete.
Yep.
He's not like Giannis.
Yep.
All right? The Joker is not athletic at all.
Yes.
And this is what I tell kids. Who would you rather model your game at? Jason Tatum or Luka Doncic?
And you know what? I had this debate with one of my friends. During the draft, when they had a choice to take Trae Young and Luka, I'm like, Luka, I've been watching this kid since
16 playing against pro. Go back and watch Luka when he was playing at 16. They played OKC in the exhibition game. Russ was MVP that year.
Yep.
If you look at that game, you wouldn't know who the best player was. The best player that night was Luka.
I saw that game.
At 16. Yeah. So if you watch that game,
yes,
how could you not take this kid number 1?
Yep. And see, I think the way my boy was explaining, he was saying to me, like, well, the reason Atlanta chose Trae is because of the market, right? It was like, entertainment, for the community, etc. And then he fit better here in Atlanta, and Luka fit better in Dallas. But my thing is this. You're trying to win the championship.
Luka cool, man. Luka cool.
Listen, man.
Luka,
he ain't
man.
Playing fair, man. He ain't playing fair.
Look, man.
He ain't playing fair.
Luka, they don't call Luka the Don for nothing.
And you can't even speed him up.
No.
Because you know what I'm saying? He processing the game in slow motion.
Yeah.
And that's all because his feet work, man. And nobody's really paying attention to that.
Yeah, he's not a good athlete at all.
Yes.
And dude, Luka was doing what he's doing now, out of shape.
Yes.
He's in shape now.
That's
Think about this. Last year, people don't understand, Luka was out of shape last year.
Yes.
And still was in the MVP conversation.
Yes.
He's in shape this year. Last year, Luka couldn't have scored 60.
Yes.
He'd get too tired.
Yes.
He was overweight.
Yes.
Dude, he has played his way, in my mind, to the MVP, to the top of the list. I don't give MVP votes to guys who are on losing teams or 500 teams. You got to be better.
Yeah.
Dallas now they're fourth in the Western Conference.
Yeah.
Right now, he's the best player in the league, man.
So what I think, Sam, the root of it all, I mean, we've been talking about this has been my speech for the last 25 years since I retired and came back, is we've gotten bored with the basics.
Exactly.
See, they never got bored with the basics.
All they want to do is see.
Yeah.
Well, I don't see any players today
Yes.
in triple threat.
Yes.
You can't guard triple threat.
No.
Oh, first of all, okay, let me give y'all a little basketball 101. I never caught the ball outside of my shooting range on offense. Listen to me carefully, people. I didn't catch the ball at half court. At half court, I got to take 10 dribbles. I didn't catch the ball 5 feet past the three-point line. I was a three-point shooter. I caught the ball 18 to 19 feet in. Because at 19 feet, if you stop back and drop your arm, I'm going to hit you with the J.
Yep.
If you close up, I'm either getting all the way to the hole,
Right.
or I'm taking 1-2 dribble pull-up.
Right.
All out of triple threat. And if I see the help coming, I'm going to pass.
Yes.
So, all out of triple threat. But the first part is knowing your game,
Yes.
knowing who you are.
Yes.
So I never put myself in position where I had to try to do something I couldn't do to make mistakes. Wow. The reason I played 13 years and played until I was 40 years old, and I didn't make it until I was 26, is because from here on up, the coach could trust me. I didn't make mistakes. I didn't turn the ball over. I didn't try to do things I couldn't do. Listen to me carefully, kids. NBA coaches, they rather have a guy that gets 14 a night and don't turn the ball over and play within himself than have a guy that get me 25 one night, but then when he's bad, he's 4 points, he's 4 for 18, he's 6 turnovers. No, I can't coach like that because I don't know when I'm going to get the good or the bad.
Right.
You give me that guy that's consistent, that don't make mistakes, that play within himself. I can game plan around his talent. I can't game plan around this guy, the other guy, because it's too much uncertainty.
And see, going back to the root, right? Young people, trainers, guys who consider themselves trainers and have access to our young people, trying to help them develop. You got to develop them, or you got to develop them to be efficient and effective, right?
Yeah.
As opposed to giving them 100 meter drill. It's only one basketball, right? What about the other 4 players? And my thing is, you have to have a plan. See, here's what we convey, right? Your body can only, you guarding me, Sam. What I know about you, you guarding me, right? Your body can only move 6 ways. It can go up, it can go down, right, left, front, back. That's it.
Yeah.
Now, once you get going one direction, you got to stop before you change to go the other direction. So what I do, I speed you up and I use your aggression against you on the catch, right? So if you coming at me like this, I see how you coming. I'm going to hit you with the shot fake.
Yep.
Now, if you don't bite it, I'm going to hit you with the jab. You got to bite that.
Yep.
I'm out.
Yep.
And I'm going to take 1, 2, 3 dribbles at the most. Efficient and effective. That's what we got to start conveying to our young people. Because I'm going to tell you, in the next 5 to 10 years, you're going to look on the floor. It's going to be 5 European players starting.
Yep.
I promise you. That's what we're talking
Hey,
about.
look, I remember a night we're playing. I can't remember who we were playing. Alex English, one of my assistant coaches, he kicking me on the bench. I'm like, what's up? He said, Coach, look out on the floor. I said, yo, what's wrong? He said, you realize we got 5 European players on the floor. I said, no, Coach. We got 5 Toronto Raptors players on the floor, and we kicking the other team ass. What he was saying, we got 5 Europeans, we got 5 white guys on the floor. I didn't see 5 white guys.
Wow.
I didn't see 5 Europeans. I saw 5 Toronto Raptors basketball players that were outplaying the other team because we were coached, we were smart, we were efficient. We didn't turn the ball over, we didn't miss free throws. Anytime you gave us an opportunity, we took advantage of it. Everybody played within themselves. It was the most fun I've ever had coaching that team because all I had to do was show up and coach. I didn't have to worry about bad attitudes. And I'm telling you this, look at NBA players. Look at what just happened in Atlanta. All that negative stuff around with Trae Young and Nate McMillan.
So,
look at that.
That's crazy.
Dude, you don't hear that. The Joker.
Never.
I watched Giannis after a press conference 2 years ago, and people were trying to kill Coach Budenholzer about his minutes. Well, Giannis, you're only playing 34, 35 minutes a game. Giannis said, listen, I trust my coach. My coach has the team and my best interest at heart. If he's only playing me 35 minutes a game, he's doing it for a reason. My job is with the 35 minutes I'm getting to go play as hard as I can and not worry about it. And what people didn't realize, Coach Bud is actually extending Giannis' career. Think about it. He could be greedy and selfish and play Giannis 42 minutes a game. Giannis the type of young man, you playing 48 minutes a game, he gonna go out there and play 48 minutes a game until he can't go anymore, until he broke down. Yeah. But Coach Bud is looking at the long term. He said, look, man, I got a chance to win multiple NBA championships as long as he's healthy. Why am I gonna grind him in the ground when this kid got another 12, 13, 14 years to play? If I do my job correctly and I'm a good steward of his body and this team, we can put a team on the court year in and year out that has a chance to win.
Let me ask you a question. Was that year you was the coach of the year with Toronto, right?
Yeah.
That's the year, right? So let me ask you a question. You got certain play. To me, it's the difference between a pro and a professional, right? Like some guys are pro, they show up, they get their money, they go home, that's it. They stay. They don't even in the summertime. They play pickup ball. That's it.
That's a professional.
You know what I'm saying?
He's doing what he got to do to keep his check.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, you see other guys, they come back the next summer, they have muscles on their bodies. You know what I'm saying? They got the shot better. I mean, they've gotten better. And then, to me, a professional is on and off the court. And you see guys like Giannis, like even after the game, if you miss free throw, he stayed after the game, no matter where he's at, shoot free throws, right? To me, guys like that is a professional. I'll never forget this. I went to see Kobe when they played Atlanta. This is a true story. And I'm gonna talk about your boy Kevin Garnett too. Another story that I know you got a lot of stories about him. But I went to see Kobe in Atlanta, exhibition game on everything. So I had good seats on the floor. Kobe, the ball went out of bounds. Kobe dived at this is an exhibition game now. He dived at the ball in the exhibition game, and I was like. Because what that told me about him, which I already knew, right? He real different.
But Bo, it's not, if you love the game, when I stepped on the floor, I didn't try to differentiate between whether it's a real game or an exhibition game or what. It's a game.
Yes.
We're competing against another team.
Yes.
We're trying to break their will. We're trying to impose our will on them. So I love the competition. So I'm just going to compete. And if it means I dive for a ball, I tell people this all the time. When you don't play hard, that's when you open yourself up to get hurt.
Absolutely. And then the other thing, too, guys are making so much money, Sam. Sometimes for them, it's a business decision whether they gamble the ball or not.
And that's it. But
you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying some of them guys.
And that is that's a Bible thing. Yeah. Look, there's playing hard and there's playing stupid.
Right.
Okay? Example, Mark Upshaw. Mm-hmm. Dear friend of both guys. Yeah. Mark used to tell me this all the time. He's 2 years older than me. Great player. The difference between you and I was, we both played hard. I would dive into the stands when I knew there was no chance of getting that ball. Mm. You would run to the edge and pursue it, but if you knew there was no chance of getting it, you're not diving in the stand, because that's how you get hurt. Mm. Sometimes as you get to a certain level, you got to do the math. If I can get it, I'm going for it. It don't make no sense to put yourself at arm's way if you can't make the play. So you do sometimes have to make a professional decision. Another one, Shaquille O'Neal coming down the lane, and it's the first quarter of a regular season game, I may get out the way. If it's game 7 of the NBA Finals, hey man, I'm gonna stand there and take it. But I'm not taking that charge, man. Not game 32 in the first quarter of a regular season game, because at the end of the day, when I get hurt, I'm hurting my team. Right. Now, if it's NBA Finals, you do what you gotta do. Right. So when it comes to stuff like that, I'm okay. To me, that doesn't differentiate between if a guy plays hard or not. I want those intelligent guys. Absolutely. Because I don't want, now if Kobe can dive and get that ball all day long, but what I don't want is Kobe Bryant diving to the stands getting hurt for a ball that he just couldn't get. Right.
That makes sense.
Be smart, man.
Yeah, be smart. So the other thing too, Sam, is working with these kids, because I'm grassroots. I work with everybody, man. I don't discriminate. I work with everybody. I work with special need kids. Mm-hmm. The issue that I see is they don't communicate. They don't talk. You know what I'm saying? They don't talk. And I'm gonna bring up Kevin Garnett. Went to another game at the Phillips Arena, or back then it was called Phillips Arena. Kevin Garnett, you got 16, 20, 30,000 people in there. He the only person I can hear. Hey, yo, he got him over here. Jared, get him over here. He the only person I heard in the gym. So I always use that reference when I'm talking to young people. It's okay to communicate and talk because defense starts with communication. Yeah. And so I know you had some experiences with him because you coached him. And you was a teammate as well, right? Yeah. So, I mean, he was a leader. He was a leader.
It's you know, the hardest thing I find with coaching people is finding guys that know how to lead. Just because you get in guys' face, that's not always the right way to lead. Just because you practice hard, it's not always the right way to lead. It's a combination. You gotta be that guy that shows up to do the work every day, to put the work in. But you also gotta be the guy that's willing to sit down and meet another one of his teammates on his level and talk to him. You know, you gotta talk to people, not at them or down to them. And I think the thing that made KG good was that he get on you, but he didn't talk down to you. He never asked you to do something that he hadn't already done. You know, he went out there, man, you do. No, KG was going to take the toughest matchup every day. He was going to do the tough things. When we ran sprints in practice, he won every last one. He wasn't one of those guys, I'm the best player on the team, so I don't have to do what everybody does. He was the first in line for every drill. So not only did he lead by example, he led through words of encouragement.
See, I love that.
So he was an all-around leader because he always, I'm telling you, he never, man, I remember, man, Flip came in one night, God bless the dead, and was on everybody, except for KG. And the guy who was getting tortured that was KG. And KG finally stood up and said, Flip, no, it ain't them, it's me. Directed towards me. And what you realize, if your best player is coachable, you can coach everybody else. That's why in Minnesota, Flip had a lot of success. Because KG was so coachable. Flip coached the whole team through KG. We can go in film sessions, and KG and Flip could point out every mistake KG made. And KG would be like, instead of getting mad, like, why are you pointing it out? Right. KG was like, okay, Flip, so I should have did this. He wanted to know so he could get better. That's what blows my mind.
Young folks.
People go to film session and they think the coach is picking on them.
Young people,
no.
Listen to that right there. You gotta be coachable.
He's trying to make you better. How are you supposed to get better if I don't point out your mistakes? Right. And this is what I tell kids. I change the terminology. I don't call it critique. I call it constructive coaching. I don't even use the word criticism. I use the constructive coaching, right? How are you going to get better if I don't point out? And for us to get better as a team, now I did my film sessions two different ways when I was head coach. I did a general film session where I broke down how we were playing as a team, offense and defense, everybody looking. And then I had a breakout film session where I divided my team up. I had my forwards, my centers, and my point guards. And I always kept a coach on my staff that played point guard. And then I would have my point guard coach do individual film work with my point guards because they need to see some different things. And then I took the centers and I had my other coaches do the forwards. And we would do breakout film sessions like that because we could even dive deeper into what we should have been doing, right? And so I just felt like it was always better because now when we did the big film session, we could see what we're doing as a team. But then when we broke it down into groups, I wanted the guys to see what they were doing individually. And how what they did individually affected the team, positive or negative.
That's crazy. Well, let me say this too, Sam. Let me ask you this. This is a question I wanted to ask you. Like the great ones, you look at the guys nowadays, you look at the bronze, you look at the guys' staff and some of the top players. And do you think their thought process, right? Are they trying to be the best player or are they trying to be the best player for the team?
They're trying to be the best player for the team.
That's what I'm talking about.
The problem with a lot of players, they get it construed. they think they're supposed to be good for themselves or just be good.
That's my point.
You got to be good for the team.
Yes.
If you can't use your individual talent and mix it within the team, then that's a problem.
Yes.
There's a lot of guys that can do certain things, but if we can incorporate it to the team, then we don't need you. That's why you see this all the time. That's why you see a guy that may be a better scorer coming off the bench. I need that when we start making substitution. That's why sometimes you can't put 5 scorers on the floor.
Right. And it's funny you say that. I had a chance to work with one of the greatest scorers that ever came off the bench, Lou Will.
Yeah.
3 times, 6 man of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Got him in we started working with Lou when he was, 7th grade? Stayed with him all the way through. But once I made him understand the importance of his feet, everything changed.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he was a gifted kid, right? No doubt about it. But some kids could just put that ball in the basket. And he was one of those.
Yeah.
But when he understood how to use his feet, he became more efficient. And that's why he played 16 years. And then he don't lift no weights, he's still the same size. And so my point to that is this, and I'm going back to this European stuff, because I want to talk about what we are seeing today that we didn't used to see. Guys scoring 60 points or 70 points.
Yeah.
Like, man, nothing, man. Saying what 60, 70 points. You can't even touch them. If Jordan was playing back in the day's game today, he averaged 150.
He had 40. But I will say this, Bo. The players today are better.
They are. I agree.
They're better.
I agree
because,
with you. More talent.
because the game is more specialized.
Yes.
When we grew up, you had to try to be good at everything. We didn't have specialists. Very rarely did we have a guy that could just shoot. Because if all we could do was shoot, we weren't going to let you shoot.
Yeah.
You couldn't play if all you could do was one thing, right? You had to be able to do a little bit of everything.
Yup.
Today, the NBA game is so specialized that you got a guy like Duncan Robinson. All he can do is shoot. But guess what? This is what blows my mind. Even though they try to change the game, the game is always going to go back to the roots. Duncan Robinson has a hard time getting on the floor. Not picking on him, because I'm not just going to let you shoot. What else can you do? So you still have to be well rounded. Now you can get a job. You make a lot of money being a specialist. But now what happens when I take that one thing away? You always got to work on your game, man. And I think today, when I look at players today, they're better.
Yes.
The training is better.
Yeah.
Everything is better. But my biggest pet peeve with American players is they don't play the game, the majority of them, from the neck up. And that's what the game is played.
Facts. And that's the difference. That's the difference between, to me, I think, the European and American players is the technical skills and the tactical skills, right? I think they are better tactical because, like you said, they play from here up. They know what to do when they don't have the ball. Like some of these guys who scoring all these points, if you take the damn ball out of the hand, they can't play no more. You know what I'm saying? So what do you do? They're handicapped. Yeah. So one of the things that I try to convey with our young people is we even do scenarios, man. When you don't have the ball, what do you do? Pass, cut, pass, shoot, what do you do? Screen, do what? So we as coaches, as trainers, or mentors, whoever working with our kids, right? Our young people, man, really focus on the basics, man. Passing and receiving is critical. I've seen kids go to academies and work with people, and they spending the whole time dribbling that gun basketball. Never saw a passing drill. Basketball is still a team sport.
Yeah.
You can't even pass the ball. So how are you going to be able to play? Because basketball is a team sport, and you got to be able, like you said earlier, Sam, you got to be able to play with the other 4 players that's on the team.
Yeah, and the thing when you watch a lot of basketball games, the best players on most teams, when they don't have the ball, they just stand. Now, a lot of that is the system that teams run. A lot of teams just run a lot of 2-man game or a lot of dribble weave to get the individual play, to break a guy down and start that chain reaction. But yeah, I mean, I use this as an example. When Steph Curry passes the ball and make a hard cut through the lane, what happens? The defense reacts. Even though he doesn't have the ball, you're thinking, because it's Steph Curry making a cut, he's coming to get the ball.
Yes.
So guess what he does? The primary defender goes with it, but also the help defenders all take a step or two in his direction just in case. So look at what just happened. By Steph Curry making a hard cut, right? When you make hard cuts, the first thing as a defender goes through my mind is he's making a hard cut to get the ball. Right?
Yep.
Not jogging cut. Hard basketball cut. So the thing I respect about him is that he's learned how to make his teammates better, even when he don't have the ball.
Ooh, speak.
And all this is cutting, screening, slipping. I don't say another thing, kids. I watch NBA games. Everybody want to run up and slip the screen. If you want to get a shot, set a good screen. The person who screens the best gets the most shots. The reason I got a lot of shots, I used to set back screens all the time. Or anytime a guy had back to me, I go set a back screen. Yes. Random.
Yes.
Boom. Guy reacts. My guy helps, guard me, helps. The other guy who was guarding that guy set the back screen on. He reacts, I pop, boom, I got a wild shot.
Popovich cracked the code a long time ago.
We was talking about him last night being out there.
Yeah, with the European players.
Yeah, he brought all his Pop understood. Yep. Dude, you coach American players. What's up? Always got to do. I don't mind questions.
Yes.
But they're asking you questions to keep from doing something. What I used to tell players is, dude, we get here at 6:30 in the morning. We break down film. We go through all the analytics. We are pouring into all this data to come up with a game plan. Y'all have watched, you watched the game last night or the clips on ESPN, and you want to come in here and break down and destroy all this preparation and planning that we've done because you just don't want to put the work in. No, stay in your lane. I'm not out there trying to play.
It's true. Right?
So don't come to coaching room trying to coach.
Right.
Players, and I say this all the time. If you're a great player, should the GM and coach consult with you about certain things? Absolutely. But that don't mean you should make the decision. Or that don't mean you should be in the decision-making process. We're going to sit you down and explain to you what we're doing. But you don't understand. We got hundreds of hours of work and thought into this decision.
Right.
We're letting you know, 2 minutes. Well, I don't think we should do that.
Wow.
You ain't putting the time and energy into this for us to come up with this plan.
Wow. Well, when Pop first started bringing the guys over from Europe, people was like, man, what is he doing? And then when they started seeing the players like Tony Parker, Ginobili, Tim Duncan, they being the best players in the league because they play the game the right way. It's a team sport.
And they're coachable. That's
coachable.
That's more important.
Coachable. Yes.
If I can't coach you, you can't play.
That's right. And the funny thing is, great players want to be coached.
You go to any team where the coach lets everybody do what they want to do. The first thing that happens is the best players want to leave. The best players want to, because the best players realize we can't win like this. If I'm the best player and the worst player on the team when he gets in the game is taking more shots than me, and the coach don't say nothing, we're not a team. He's not starring in his role. That's my role, right? And it's not selfish. That's how a team comes together. Everybody fits a certain way. I didn't get the same amount of shots as Kevin Garnett and Stephon Marbury did.
Right.
Was supposed to. If I did, that was a problem because I wasn't as efficient. That was my job. And so everybody's got to star in their role. And the problem with sometimes with American players, man, they want to, and I love questions. The only bad question is the one you don't ask. Ask me any question. But understand, if you're asking a question just because you're trying to get out of something, don't ask. Because no relevant or credible coach is ever going to ask his team to do something. I don't have punishment practice. I don't have punishment drills. I don't believe in that because they're negative.
Right.
Everything we're doing is to get better.
Right.
If we're running, it ain't for punishment. It's to get in shape so we can get better. Right. Everything we do is with the purpose of getting better. I don't have a doghouse. You said something. I'm not going to a doghouse. You're a human being. I put you on the bench. I don't have a doghouse. Just because you didn't play tonight don't mean you can't play tomorrow. Right? Again, if I have a problem with a player after a game, we're gonna settle that the next morning, and we're gonna be done with it. Coach don't hold grudges.
And see, that's why what I do in my academies, right, with the grassroots, because I understand the dynamic of everything in society, culture, how they move in, entitlement. I understand that. So I'm trying to teach these kids or convey to them those qualities that they need. For example, you talked about, character, integrity, being a good team player, those type of things. I'm trying to teach those things early, organically. And if we don't get them to understand those principles early, when they get there, they're not going to be coachable.
Yeah.
They're not going to be a good team player. And all these qualities right here that I named, these core qualities right here, you can convey those to your life. And so that's what I'm more after. I'm saying, well, here's the basketball, but when I shake your head, man, look me in my eyes type stuff. You know what I'm saying? In an organic way. So coaches, what I'm saying is gotta be more than teaching these kids drills, man. It's gotta be more. You gotta give them the lessons inside the game. If you don't have the lessons inside the game, go get it from somebody else who got them, or hire somebody else, because they need that. But I want to go back to you, Sam. Do you think it's good to come? You know how I feel about your knowledge for the game, bro. I have so much respect for you. I'm not just saying it because you're my boy. Do you think today's game, you would be an effective coach, a more effective coach in today's game than you was back then?
Bo, I feel like I can coach him anytime, coach anybody in any era. Yes, because nothing changed.
Mm-hmm.
The skill set is even better.
Mm.
The players are better than we were.
Mm.
So I love that. I just think Isaiah Thomas said something last night, and we both agreed on the set of NBA TV. It's the schemes. Think about when you watch an NBA game today. 90% of the teams, all they do is switch. That ain't coaching. That's not a scheme. People say players don't want to do shoot around. Why should I do shoot around if our offense is passing game and we're going to switch everything? What are these shoot around for? What's the game plan? Well, I know what we're going to do on offense. We're either going to do a dribble weave and go one-on-one and break somebody down and then pass and start that chain reaction. And on defense, we're going to switch. Why do I need to get up at 10 o'clock in the morning or at 9 o'clock in the morning, get dressed, get on the bus if we're on the road, and go to shoot around? When that's all we're going to do. Now, if you tell me we're going to get up in the morning and go get shots, that's different. Yeah, I get up in the morning and go get shots. But players, because you're not teaching them anything, game plan. It drives me crazy. If I think I'm the best defender for you, and a team just comes set something that flames the screen, and now you got the matchup you want that you can take advantage of my team, what is that? That's not coaching. Right? So I'm just different, man. And it's not old school. It's coaching, it's accountability, it's teaching. Right? Players get a bad rep because as coaches, we stop coaching and teaching and just dumb the game down to the point to where anybody think they can coach now. And if all we're gonna do is run past the game and switch, anybody can coach.
Yes.
But that's not coaching.
No.
That's not developing.
No.
That's not getting guys to play better than what they think they're capable of.
Wow. And I thought I know for a fact when I saw you, and that's why when I watch you, and we talk about this all the time. And I had this conversation with my friends too, man. Because knowing the game the way I know the game, how I saw the game, and watching you and just hearing you talk about the game, it's a whole different level. So it's hard for me to not see you as a head basketball coach in the NBA with all the knowledge that you have, bro. Because I'm watching some of these guys, they're just giving them opportunities. And I'm not knocking it, but I'm just saying qualifications, with your pedigree, your qualifications, your mindset, your knowledge of the game, being able to get guys to play hard, play smart, play together, that's an art. That's not easy, especially with these guys today. And so,
Bo, you know what I did, man, before I became a head coach? I coached at Adidas Nation, the top college high school kids. I also, NBA had a training program where they took players and you would go work the pre-draft camps. And I was around, and I was playing at the time. I was around different coaches, learning. So I put myself in position to learn. And then as a player, I played for George Carl, Larry Brown, Flip Summers. I had some, Bill Musselman. I had some great coaches, and I learned from them. And you know what got me into coaching? You know what started me to coaching?
right.
Bill Musselman.
Wow.
I never thought I wanted to coach. Never thought about it. Musk used to say to me all the time. First of all, he made me the captain. He said to me all the time, when we put together a game plan, you know the game plan as well as the coaches. I studied it. I knew the plays of what we were doing, and I knew the plays the other team was running.
Wow.
And it wasn't hard for me to learn it. It's like the mental part of basketball came easy. Now, I could think the game. I could visualize things. I could see things that I couldn't even do. Like, I didn't have the skill set to do the things that I knew what was going on, or I knew I could do to take advantage of. That was frustrating me as a player. I wasn't good. My brain was better than my talent. Does that make sense? I don't know if I'm saying that right. I knew more and saw more, but I didn't have the skill set to take advantage of it. If I was a better athlete, if I could go back through time and start all over, I would have started my basketball life different. I would have started fundamentals. Every single day, I would have started my first 25 to 30 minutes of my workout with fundamentals.
Yes.
Every day.
Yes.
I got better. I never forget. When I turned 35 in the off-season, it's a guy named Mike McCollum, the white guy in Minneapolis. I used to go to Northwest Fitness Center. In there working out on my own. They would let me have the gym for an hour and a half in the health club. He would bug me every day, let me train you. And I would say to him, dude, you some little 5'6" white dude. What are you gonna train me? He would just laugh. Right. So he kept bugging me. Finally, one day I said, dude, okay, you can come pass to me. He started out passing, and then we started doing drills. All the basics. Stuff I had not done since college.
Just the basic stuff.
Dude, we don't do them in the pros. Just the basic. Catch, face up, triple threat, rip and go, yes. One dribble pull up. Catch, face up, hard jab step, come back left, one dribble pull up. Fake, hard step, jab step, pump fake, get a guy off you, two dribbles pull up.
Yeah.
When I got to training camp, after the third day of practice, Flip Saunders called the team in. He said, I want to say something. Don't you ever tell me you can't get better. Sam, come here. What have I done? You've gotten better. How old are you? Flip, I'm 35. How did you get better? Coach, all I did, I told him, and Flip knew Mike.
Right.
I said, me and Mike got in the gym. What did y'all work on? Fundamentals. Hour and a half, 5 days a week. Not 7 hours a day.
Yes.
Hour and a half, 2 hours. 5 days a week. And as a 35-year-old NBA veteran, my head coach singled me out and said, I can't believe at 35 you've gotten better. Now, if I can get better at 35, you're telling me you can't get better from 17 to 18, 18 to 19, and so forth and so on?
Did y'all hear that? Fundamentals.
That's it.
Basic fundamentals. Never get bored.
And I want to tell you something else. For you guys out there that can't shoot, you can change your shot. This is what blows my mind. Why would you keep practicing something that's broke? Definition of insanity. You got a bad shot, so when a coach tells you, well, his fundamentals are bad, but we just gonna keep working with him, shooting with that elbow out, and then something go in. Guess what? You can shoot 10,000 shots a day. You'll never be better than a 40% shooter. It's fundamentals. Yeah. It's fundamentals. Yeah. Everything is this. Whenever I struggle with my shooting, Trent Tucker, I called Trent, I'm struggling. You know what he do? I'm thinking he gonna tell me some great thing he saw me doing. He was our radio broadcaster. Right. I'm Trent, what you see, man? Hey, now I'll meet you at the gym tomorrow. Come to practice, man. We got practice at 11. Meet me there at 9:30, man. My shot's off. Okay. Fundamentals. Yes. Feet. We will start from the feet. Make sure I'm square. Feet are set properly. Make sure my shoulders are square. Make sure my body's aligned. Make sure my elbows in. Make sure my hand, I'm not releasing the ball like this. But he used to tell me, point. This finger right here. That finger that your mama told you don't be pointing at people. But now you can do that. And then, because this is what will happen. It looks good right now, but my elbow's not in. Yeah. My elbow's still out. Yeah. But to the naked eye, it looks like it's right. But I've done it so much, I can feel that it's open. Right. And that much is going to make my shot that short. Yeah. So by doing that, and making sure that field, I called it getting it in the slot.
Right.
And when I got it in the slot, all I had to do was do that. That's what Steph Curry does.
Speaking of shooting, that was my other topic, man. Like,
People didn't know I could shoot.
oh yeah, I know.
That was my thing. People didn't. I played good defense, play hard, but what
your
people didn't know,
mid range was deadly.
my mid range. I was a 3-point shooter.
Your mid range was deadly.
In college, you know what's weird though? In college, I was a 3-point shooter.
Really?
All I did was shoot deep shots in college.
Wow.
But 18, 19 feet in, I didn't feel like I was gonna miss.
Bro, true story. When I first went to Europe, because I was getting to the basket so easy, I didn't need to shoot.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just getting there. You know, I'm like shooting layup.
Yeah.
I was shooting 65% from the field because I'm shooting layup.
Yeah.
So team got smart that second year, right? So they start playing zone.
They started playing the ball,
right?
packing it in.
When I put it on the floor, boom, body was right there. So when I went home, started working on my shot, like you said. But what I learned though, everything started with the feet. Start working on my shot. Now I start making the 3-ball. Once I started making the 3-ball, I had the mid range, and I can get to the basket.
It was over.
It was over.
The game was easy.
It was almost.
My first 9 games in Europe, I scored 44 points in every game.
I can believe that.
I couldn't get over 44. My first 9 games. The first game I played in Europe was an exhibition game down in, where did we go? I think we were down in Monaco. Monaco.
Yeah.
I had 77 in the exhibition game.
You gave him 77.
First game. The coach told him to give me the ball. So let's see what this American could do.
So you had 77.
He had 57 the next night.
Bro, the most I scored.
It was over.
The most I scored in one game was 65 points. I ain't never scored no
77.
Let me tell you this. Let me ask you this. Who was the best European player that you ever played against?
Apollo 5. He was my teammate.
Yes, he went to Limoges and played with them.
Apollo was
Big
good,
club.
man. Back in Big Six.
Big boy.
Apollo played against the U.S. National team back in the day. Apollo was good, man.
Yeah.
That's when I realized something missing. Because even then, he could, and he was old then. You know, Apollo, when I played with him, was 35.
Big old dude.
But at 6'10", 35 years old, he could shoot.
Yes.
He could make, the thing that he could do better than, I had never seen a big guy pass like that. He catch it in the high post, and we're cutting it. He boom. You go back door, he hit you with the pass. I'm like,
yeah.
stuff guards did. I'm like, dude, big fella. He was like, African guy, Apollo, he was like, Sam, that's how the game is beautiful, man. We don't get down there and do all of this. I can do that, but I want to, and I was like, that's the first time I seen it, because big guys in America couldn't pass.
Yes. Now, speaking of that, the guy that I played against was 2. Sabonis. I called him in Europe. He could pass the ball like that too. I mean,
if Sabonis would have played in the NBA, he'd be top 3.
I called him in his prime, bro.
People didn't see it. People saw him when he was fat.
I called him in his prime. He was a 7'3" small forward.
Yeah.
Sam, when I tell you, he shooting 3-point shots off the backboard.
Yeah.
Listen, outlet pass. His outlet pass was a bounce pass on a dime. Like
he was there. I would make this argument.
Yeah.
He was the best player in the world.
I believe it.
He was better than NBA players.
I can believe
yes.
it. Yes.
People don't realize how good he was. Bro. And before he hurt his knees,
yes.
When he, like you said, when he was young,
yes.
I tell you who he was like. Victor Wembanyama, the young kid. I don't know if I'm saying his name right.
Player Miami?
He was just the kid overseas right now in France.
Oh yeah.
That was him. He was doing what this kid.
But a little bit stronger.
Yeah, he was doing what this kid doing now. 30 years ago.
That's crazy.
People don't understand that.
Yes.
Sabonis was. If he would have came to the league back then, he would have revolutionized the game because he was bold.
And you know what I'm saying? I remember we played him in Russia, right? He played in Kaunas. This man would walk in the room and he had to turn sideways. He was so big. He could duck his head and walk in the room. But the thing that I remember one time, I went to the basket. I was getting ready to throw it, right? The damn basket disappeared. So balled up. So, but the other player that I played against, that he had 45 when he was Jordan. He passed away. God rest in peace. Drives and Petrovic. He was a machine, bro.
Yes.
He was a machine. Boy.
Drives could shoot, man.
That's why, he had like 113 points in one game.
Wow.
113
people, I'm telling you, man, the development, the way they develop players in Europe is so different than how we develop.
Yes.
And dude, I said, this is what I tell people all the time. If you start an NBA team today, who'd be your first pick?
Luka.
All right. After Luka, who'd be your second pick?
The guy in Denver. Joker.
Who'd be your third pick?
Giannis.
You ain't say that. Where they all from? Okay. And your fourth pick probably be Joel Embiid.
Exactly.
Hello.
So we better wait.
And don't tell you this, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander ain't gonna be too far down on my list.
Facts.
You go, the top 4 players in the league today are all from Europe.
That's right.
Now the discussion comes, is it Durant? Is it Tatum? But I ask you this, of those 4, name one American that you would take over there.
None. None.
People are forgetting.
None.
Last year MVP, European.
Yep.
Year before that,
European.
come on.
European. And guess
This
what?
year, are you?
European.
Because Jason Tatum, Jason done started sliding a little bit, and Luka
Yep.
done took it to, and the Joker about to average a triple-double from the center position.
That's crazy.
He's averaging 30, 12, and 9.8 assists.
That's crazy.
So he may be back-to-back. And the last guy that was 3-time MVP was Larry Bird.
Wow. He might get it too.
Brothers, I'm telling you,
Yes.
y'all better start thinking the game and start playing the game with your feet and start thinking the game up here. I'm telling you, all that running, all that jumping and dunking,
Yes.
it ain't gonna get you where you need to go.
Yes. Being efficient and being effective with your feet, man. Hey, listen, if you're developing, man, develop your game with the way that the game is going. Y'all see it? Look at the top players. The top players are from other countries, right? From other countries. They play a different style of basketball. It's efficient, it's effective, and it's team basketball. They'll score 100 points, but you better know they got 35 assists behind them. You know what I mean? And they got rebounds because they're team players. So I just think that today's game is a good place, but we got to step it up, especially with our grassroots.
Today's game is a great place for Europe, for the world.
Yeah. That's
Even
what I'm saying.
Africa catching up.
Yes.
But for the United States kids, we're falling behind in the skill level.
Yes.
I'm telling you, man, forget about dunking.
Yes.
Come on.
Yes.
Come on. Ja Morant game went to another level when he learned to do what? Shoot.
Yes.
What did Golden State 2 years ago do to him? We ain't guarding him.
Yep.
Gonna make him shoot. What did Ja do? Went to the lab, worked on his job, made 6 threes that game.
Yep.
Now, the whole game is easy for Josh now because he can shoot. He can shoot. And then there's another thing he does. When Ja go to the hole, you don't know if he's gonna do this. He can pass.
Or he can drop it off. He drop it off. He drop it off with what I call them sweet assists. Like you got 2 different ones, right? You got the one where they give it to you, then you got to do something else.
Yeah.
Then you got the one where
All
they
you
give
gotta
it
do
to
is
you
do that.
and drop it in.
Yeah.
And so when guys give it to you, and all you got to, those are gifted passers. But in order to be a gifted passer, you got to be a willing passer.
Yeah.
And a lot of guys, they want to pass the ball when they can't do nothing. They exhaust all their options. Damn, he was right there, getting that layup. So just learning and playing the game the right way, man, I'm telling you, not only you have longevity, but you make your other teammates better. And that's what we got to convey to our young people. But I mean, listen, man, this has been awesome, bro.
Oh, I enjoyed it, man. Thank you for inviting me.
You're my man, bro. I appreciate you. You know it, bro. Sure.
Keep teaching them.
Hey, man, we got
No,
to.
keep coaching them. Like you said something I like. I train animals.
Yes. And you develop people.
You develop people.
Yes.
I like that.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate
Learn
you.
something every day.
We out, brother.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.